Okay, are we rolling? Alright, so you know you need to create an online course so you can make a bigger income and impact in your business and gain more of your time back as a coach, service provider, or entrepreneur. Great! But you've been procrastinating for months now. And so, what do we do? Well, it's time to beat your procrastination now. Hey friend, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hello, I'm Myrra Kate, and I'm a kingdom-driven entrepreneur, online course creator and strategist, and author, helping Christian women coaches and entrepreneurs multiply their income and impact. I upload videos on course creation, business, and faith-based personal development every Monday, and so make sure to subscribe and click on the notification bell below to not miss out on the videos that we upload. Now, I know procrastination is killing so many businesses out there. Many women coaches and entrepreneurs out there are struggling with generating income in their businesses without trading their time for money. And so they know an online course is a great opportunity to resolve that. The problem is they keep procrastinating on it. Months after they plan to create a course, they still don't have an online course to show for it. Well, can you relate? If yes, don't feel bad. I've been there before myself, and honestly, it took a near-death experience for me to finally decide enough is enough and finally start creating my course. So, instead of giving you generic advice like, just do it, you just need more willpower, just stop being lazy, you just need to manage your time better, you know? Here's my advice on how to stop procrastinating and start creating your online course now. Let's talk about your heart for a second. Take a moment and ask yourself, what is really blocking you to create your course? Set aside lack of time and lack of know-hows for a minute and think, what is really keeping me from creating a course? What am I really afraid of? See, when you dig deep and get honest with yourself, you'd find your answers usually relate to the following. I really have to get this online course as perfect as I want it to be. But what if this online course doesn't work? I really don't know where to start. Once you uncover those, that is not the time for you to judge yourself. This is instead the time for you to tap or embrace yourself and say, okay self, I understand you're scared this course won't work or people might get refunds or whatever. But the truth is we won't know unless we try. And we actually have people in the waitlist waiting for us to launch this course soon. And then after doing so, my next tip is for you to check your priorities. As human beings, we are wired to work on the things that we feel are most important and or are most urgent to us. So try to figure out what your actual priorities are, at least in the next month or so, and see if you can find the importance and urgency behind creating a course in your life and or your business. So maybe you're a coach and you spend most of your time coaching one-on-one clients, and so you think you can't find the time to create a course. But if you check your priorities and see the importance of creating a course in your life now, let's just say how much creating a course will help you free up more of your time from your business so that you can spend that time instead with your loved ones. And see the urgency of it, which is maybe that the sooner that you launch and create your course, the sooner you can scale your business from one-on-one to one-to-many so that you can generate more of your income in your business with less time commitment, then you will most likely get it at the top of your priorities. And guess what happens when you truly prioritize something? You get to work on it and finally stop procrastinating on it. Okay, so let's go to the logical and practical ways that you can stop procrastinating on your online course creation. First is you have to break it down. Instead of putting create a course in your calendar or to-do list, why not look at it as a project, A project has specific milestones, and under each milestone, you have more specific tasks. And once you figured out your specific broken down tasks that you have to do, you can then set a date on when you plan to work on each of them. Which brings me to the next tip. Create a realistic schedule. You know when people say you just have to have 1 hour or 2 hours to work on your task every day so you can finish that task as soon as possible? I'm guilty of saying this before, by the way. That advice may not be realistic for the most of us. And so that is probably why it's not working for you. Sometimes we have to be realistic with our schedule. And if we can only work 30 minutes in the course of our everyday, because most of our time goes to our full-time job or our studies or our client calls or taking care of our children, then there's no need to feel bad. Or say you only have 2 weeks every week during Mondays when you don't have client calls and when you can spend time creating your course. Then be realistic and set that on your calendar. All the other days besides Monday is when you can work on the smaller, easier tasks that only take a few minutes to finish. And then every Monday is when you can do the bigger tasks that take more time. Have empathy with yourself. Our days all look different, and so set and find a schedule that works for you. Third tip is to try time blocking. Once you figure out your schedule, try to block your time on what course creation tasks you will work on and set aside all distractions during that time. Say you have 2 hours on Monday as per the example that I gave earlier. Maybe the first hour is you writing your talking points on the lesson you're working on, and then the second hour is when you will work on designing slides. This is important because instead of you thinking you have the entire 2 hours to finish all of these tasks, you are now being more specific on what task to do on a set amount of time. And so you're now giving yourself a deadline on when to finish it. Here's the thing, if we don't do so, we may end up spending so many hours on something that we can actually finish for like 30 minutes or an hour. I honestly should have learned this when, for example, when I was in college and I would tell myself, okay, I have the entire day to review on this exam. And so I would take up the entire day, but in between, I would always find myself mindlessly scrolling on my phone and getting distracted. And so now thinking about it, I could have finished reviewing for that exam for like 2 hours, but it already took the entire day for me to finish just because I wasn't time blocking and I wasn't focusing on that task alone. Okay, now we need to get deeper. If you're procrastinating on creating your online course, I want to pose a question for you. Have you already prayed about this and asked God for the wisdom on how to handle this challenge and quit procrastination? James 1:5 in the scripture says, "If any of you lacks wisdom, you should ask God, who gives generously to all without finding fault, and it will be given to you." I know I've given you sound tips in this video, but honestly, you can skip it all and just go to God. He will not find fault in us, meaning He will not be mad at us or underestimate us when we ask Him for wisdom. Our God is a generous God, and so He loves giving us what we need. And so if we need discipline or self-control or motivation or strategies to quit procrastinating on our online course, then He will give us everything we need freely. Another thing is get conviction on your why. Honestly, it will drive you more than any fleeting motivation ever will. When I was procrastinating and losing motivation on creating my very first online course back in 2019, I always went back to that time when I was admitted to the hospital for dengue, and the doctor actually told me that I wouldn't have survived if I would have been diagnosed a day later. And so one night in that hospital, I talked to God and I told Him, I won't ever take my life lightly again, and if He will give me another chance to live, then I won't waste time, and instead I will get to work on the things that He has put in my heart. A month after getting out of the hospital, by the grace of God and sheer willpower and understanding my why, I was able to launch and create my course only after a month of working on it. What I was procrastinating on for half a year, I got done in a month. That is the power of understanding your why. And finally, let's talk about humility. Are we humble enough to sacrifice the things that give us pleasure? Like, for example, checking our social media accounts for hours on end and scrolling on our phones endlessly throughout the day to get to work on what God wants us to do. Jesus said, "Whoever wants to be my disciple must deny themselves and take up their cross and follow me." Sometimes we have to remind ourselves and we have to understand that we have to deny the flesh, everything that is keeping us from doing the things that God is calling us to do, so that we can enjoy the fruits and the promises God has for us. Going back to priorities, we have to ask ourselves, are we prioritizing the things that God is calling us to do? If He wants us to create a course so we can use the gifts and the knowledge and the expertise and skills and talents that He has given us so that we can help and support and equip and encourage and educate others with them, are we willing to sacrifice our time and energy to do it? If you answered yes, then you're well on your way. Okay, so if by the end of all these things, you realize that your priorities and your mindset are all set, and really it's the lack of time and know-hows that are keeping you from creating a successful and transformational online course, then I'm here to help. I have years of experience helping busy kingdom-driven women coaches and entrepreneurs create successful and transformational online courses without stress and overwhelm through our course creation done for you services. You can save hours of work on the tasks that you're supposed to do for course creation, and instead you can just focus on your zones of genius. And so if you lack the time and if you lack the tech knowledge and the know-hows on creating a course, and you just want to outsource all of these complicated stuff, and if you're interested to apply to work with me, I will put the link in the description box below where you can book a call with me so that we can explore your options. If you like this video, please hit the thumbs up button below and share this to your friends if you find this helpful. Also, I recommend watching this video next if you want to learn the things that you have to know first before creating a successful online course. So keep the faith, my friends, and know that the best is yet to come. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.